Thank you so much for joining us today, Steven. I really appreciate you being here. And we're going to be discussing all things horror, horror experiences, our favorite movies. Yeah, I'm a 1990 baby, and you're a 1997 baby. Tell us about the your first horror experience, which you did with Child's Play, which was mine as well. I think it was very popular.
Yeah, I think that's with Child's Play that struck the fear in the hearts of a lot of little kids growing up. Especially, back then, dolls were the main hit market for kids to play with. The G.I. Joes, the Barbies, and all that. And it was just we never knew if they were alive. Like played like a little Toy Story on us. And I know like when we were discussing with Child's Play, like that psychiatric ward scene that a lot of people don't know is whenever I want to say his name is Andy, the little
Yeah.
kid.
hmm
Uh, which ironically, speaking of toys,
Oh my God. Oh my gosh. I never put those two and two together.
yeah, when Andy's looking down at the psychiatric ward. When Chucky goes up the staircase, that is an actual little person. The way you can just tell by the way he moved and the way it was filmed, like, it was just so smooth and like, come on, there's no way that can be animatronic or robotic. And I did a little research later in life, and yeah, I was correct. That's scared the crap out of me as a kid, and it made me fear dolls. And my cousin had like that teen sit porcelain dolls. Whenever I would sleep over, it just felt like it was always watching me. That's just one of the few hardcore things in the horror films that's always gonna get people. It's just the dolls, no
The
matter
doll.
what.
That and now that I was thinking about it, processing it, basically a lot of the horror movies that it might be a late realization, but a lot of horror movies that we've been seeing kind of play on our fears, so early as childhood with toys. What do they do when we're not playing with them? What's in the darkness? We're scared of the dark, right? So I just realized that a lot of these movies are a play on that, those childhood fears. And I myself also was really scared of Child's Play, but like also like the whole situation with like at first it's like a deep, like you're having a heart attack kind of scare, but then when you grow up, you enjoy those thrills. It's crazy, right? Like us now, like
Yeah,
we've lived so much now that we are enjoying the thrill of being scared. Like I love being scared. I love going on rides and roller coasters, that all that kind of thing. Like I love getting scared now,
oh yeah,
right?
definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Like it's one of those things that we cherish, but now that we're older,
Mm-hmm.
it keeps us alive.
Mm-hmm.
That with the feeling of being alive.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and also, especially with like the horror industry, it's always evolving, always changing. But yet, it still has those core fundamentals that are built upon. And our generation and even the generation before us, we grew up with like the basics. And I think with us, we cherish it a little bit more than kids that are younger than us. Now everything's CGI and it only can go so far with CGI.
Yeah.
And, and there's so much work out there that needs to be done. And, they're trying, they are trying, like the what movie production Bloomhouse is doing great work always. Shutter, that,
Platform. Mm-hmm.
yeah, that streaming platform doing good work. And, there's like a lot of other YouTubers out there. Like I personally watch Dead Meat.
Did
James A. Janice, he does like kill counts for like horror movies. He's been
oh
doing it for years.
Oh, wow. Yeah, when I jumped doing into this, there's only one person that I would watch on YouTube, and it's Spooky Astronauts. She's from from Australia.
Interesting.
Yeah. But other than that, I honestly like I couldn't find anything in regards to podcasts that I was into. I was like, oh, let me listen to a spooky podcast. I wasn't getting into it because I just didn't feel like they were talking about like relevant, horror movies that might be like that are happening. But yeah, in regards to like CGI, it's so funny that you're talking about that because I did start like a petition. It's just like for fun on my website for the podcast, and it basically bring back practical effects because that's what we need
Mm,
to see. Like there's an art to that is being lost because of CGI. But
Oh yeah, yeah, definitely. Like I know what you mean with that. And it's just a lot more creativity, you know. It's a challenge for this the people, and you can only do so much with it. Of course, you know, everything has their limits. That's where like CGI could make an assistance, but you gotta have a healthy
exactly,
balance.
it has to
That
be done tastefully.
exactly.
Just like a touch of it is all we need. We don't need the whole movie to be CGI.
Yeah, we don't need our dinner to be over seasoned, so to
No.
speak.
Yep, exactly. What are your top three favorite films?
My top three favorite films: Lost Boys, amongst favorites. Anything Lost Boys. You know, I had the soundtrack. I have the shirts. I even thought about getting a tattoo at one point. It was just one of those movies that really integrated well with the environment and the culture. You
I
know,
agree.
being 80s, each generation has like their own thing, but then it made sense. It worked very well. And another one of my favorite movies is Bram Stoker's Dracula.
Oh my goodness, that's my favorite. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a lot of people's favorites,
Hmm.
and it very follows like a good version of the book. I wouldn't want to say that. But I just, you know, when Nosferatu came out, I took my mom to go see it, and um, I couldn't speak after. Yeah, I don't have any spoilers here. People for haven't seen it yet, but definitely watch it and read the book.
Yeah, with Nosferatu, and I'm like all for spoilers. Like I'm gonna put a disclaimer: spoilers here. If you don't want to hear it, skip. Right? But
Mhm.
I felt that Nosferatu, the movie, was lacking a like a shock to in the plot. Ellen, the protagonist in the movie, she's Johnny Depp's daughter, Lily Rose Depp. She's a good actress. I'm not gonna like she.
Freaking insane! That's insane acting.
Some of these new actresses that I've been seeing, I'm like, man, y'all are gonna get PTSD from these roles. What I feel with Robert Eager's movies is that they're like lackluster to me because they're missing a sense of like plot twist or like a shock. It was just like way too smooth. It just didn't make sense that Ellen sacrificed herself very late in the game because like the whole family got killed off. What the heck?
Yeah,
I,
I
I
mean the whole town,
yeah,
really. You
the
know.
whole town got killed off. It just felt like she was kind of a jerk. And I didn't like that part, but I did enjoy watching it. I actually went to see it Christmas Day when it came out.
Yeah, when it came out.
And I was sitting between two men by
Oh,
myself.
well, you went by yourself.
I
Oh,
do
that's ballsy.
I go to movies by myself. Hey, we're only here for a little while. Let's have fun, right?
Oh, definitely. That
Yeah. Mhm.
a lot of people that don't know, Nosferatu is the original vampire movie before Bram Stoker, and I was doing a little bit of research before this podcast, whatever. Um, and it's just on the top of my head because I do remember that there was a controversy back then with Nosferatu film, the old one, the
Mhm.
original, like in the 1930s,
Mhm.
and um, Bram Stoker's Dracula. It's basically it goes off of the books, but it's different perspectives on it.
Right.
And you know, it's the same kind of characters, a vampire seeking of he's looking at a lost love, find somebody new that can replace his lost love. And
Mhm.
he just slithers his way into a town and just, you know, takes over.
Mhm.
Literally. And, you know, with Gary Oldman's performance and Bram Stoker's and Keanu Reeves is, you know, young Keanu Reeves too,
Mhm.
my dear.
Yeah.
It was very good performances. You know, going back to what you were saying with Nosferatu, the
Mhm.
new one that just came out.
Mhm.
Yes, it was a little bit dull, I want to say.
Mhm.
The only things that were kind of like out there was, you know, I can't remember her name, but you know, the Johnny Depp daughter's
Mhm.
acting.
Mhm.
Yeah, that was just total like a mind screw.
Mhm.
You know, it's she really emphasizes on being possessed.
Mhm.
Um, that's one thing, and it kind of follows suit with Bram Stoker's Dracula,
Mhm.
and then that's where people kind of like see it. It's predictable,
Mhm.
So I know, like me personally, I kind of like got turned off certain parts. I was just, just watching it and kind of like just there. And I already knew what was going to happen.
Hmm.
So there wasn't any, twists or curves or anything new or with that person.
Right. Yeah. Other than it being like a true gothic horror and the costumes, and I didn't like one of the fabrics that they used. To me it looked like curtains. Like it was too shiny, but what do I know, right? Like I just didn't like it. And then one of the Ellen's, her best friend, her hair was horrible. I'm pretty sure it was a wig, and that was just completely off. Like for me, I have to be completely into the movie, like Bram Stoker's Dracula. Like everything was so perfect in regards to the costumes, the characters, the actors, perfect, right? And I think that the Eggers movie did capture some of those visually like effective moments, but it was lacking in the story, which is what we all need, right? Like if you're a true horror person, I think that's what you're into, like the whole thing, like the plot, the visuals, and the CGI, right? Um,
Yeah, definitely. It's a it's a complicated triad, I would say.
mm-hmm.
You can hit two of the markers and miss one, depending on the movie. It'll be a hit or miss. You're gonna get mixed feelings about it. There's very few movies out there, or a handful of movies out there that have hit all 3 points
Mm-hmm.
um, in history, and those are the ones that are remembered.
Yep, yep, I agree. So, what was your favorite scene in Bram Stoker's Dracula?
Um, you know, growing up, it was when I first watching it. I mean, with our generation, we always the kids are always told to shy away from, like, adult scenes,
Yeah.
quote unquote. But with this scene, I couldn't really get away. For
Yeah,
two reasons. For
yeah.
two reasons.
Hmm.
One, because Dracula turned into a wolf,
Yeah,
which
what
I
the?
never knew that
Yeah,
was lore. But
that's
turned out it was one of the animality spirits that Dracula can turn into, besides a bat.
wow. I never knew that. Oh, he could turn into a wolf, I guess, in or werewolf, whatever, in this story.
Yeah, it's very weird. It's very weird. There's some mythological creatures that can kind of intertwine with your lore,
Hmm.
here and there. And also, like, werewolf was actually hooking up with the sister that was possessed. I was like,
Yeah,
how is this even possible?
yeah.
I'm just saying that there's certain movies that kind of changed me, and I know I can speak for other people as well.
Yeah,
Like, for example, Queen of the Damned.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that movie changed. I grew up a little gothic emo,
Hmm.
and that movie itself was one of the few movies that kind of like stuck with me forever.
Yeah.
Changed me mentally. Another
Hmm.
one was The Forsaken. The Forsaken was another vampire movie. It's a little Class B movie.
Let
One
me
of my
look that one up
favorites.
because I have never heard of The Forsaken. Let me see. 2001.
Yeah, it's that gritty early 2000s movie.
Oh yeah. It's
American Pie is.
American Pie just says driving across country to deliver a vintage Mercedes. Sean does the one thing wasn't supposed to do, pick up a hitchhiker.
Yeah.
From that moment on, his road trip is transformed into a surreal, terrifying nightmare.
Because the hitchhiker he picked up was just a regular guy, but in reality, again, future spoiler alerts, uh, he is infected. He's
Mm-hmm.
trying to find the head vampire because they go by, like, in generals.
Uh-huh.
One of the generals is the only one that can transform people into vampires, and they have a telepathic link to his victims or his soldiers. And so he got bit. He's
Mm-hmm.
trying to find him,
Mm-hmm.
but he found a pharmaceutical cocktail that can decrease the infection level, so he won't turn as fast. So he's trying to follow him, the general, the vampire general, gets picked up by this guy, which is very unlucky because he ends up getting infected too. They run into a girl who also is infected, but he is like the general wants to have her as his wife, but yet the two guys have the girl. So it's a cat and mouse game the whole movie.
Mm-hmm.
They run through Texas and, they battle it out
Mm-hmm.
early 2000s. So that's a really good movie. If you want something new, something different, a little bit nostalgia, definitely give that a watch. Another one I recommend is Dog Soldiers. It's switching from vampires to werewolves.
Mm-hmm.
This is I want to say it's a British film, not like, it's a
Yeah.
British military,
Yeah.
SAS. They're doing, it's early 2000s movie as well.
Mm-hmm.
They're doing a military training out in the woods in the middle of nowhere, and they run into a different experimental thing going on with werewolves, from like a different team, but their team gets wiped out, so they have to like survive, and the werewolves are the villagers. So it's a very hardcore movie because like these two guys are like locked in a bathroom, and they're trying to use everything they can, a stick or a knife, a sword, even just a flashlight to break through the walls so they can go through the next room. Action packed. It's a lot of sad. Well, God is his captain, and his captain sacrifices himself. So it's kind of like that hero's syndrome.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of make to that.
And this movie is available on Peacock with a subscription, and The Forsaken is available on Tubi for free. You just gotta download the Tubi app. I had never heard of those two last movies that you mentioned. They sound pretty good, so I might watch them also. What's your favorite horror remake?
Favorite horror remake? I have to give it. I have to give it to it. Pennywise. That remake. It fell along the line with the original so well. It's kind of like you dust something off, and it's just good as new.
I
It
agree.
reminds me of Yeah, it reminds me of that. They did the Stephen King trial.
Yeah, the last person that I spoke with was Monica from the RGB horror group on Facebook, where I poached you guys from. Basically, she also brought it, which is amazing, the remakes. Uh, what we were discussing actually, because we are both mothers, we were talking about like that scene that was added that was not in the original, where they show Georgie getting his arm bitten off by it, and how that is so traumatic. But that also shows you the evolution of gore in movies, right?
It
Because
happened so quick too.
yeah, it happened like the first few moments of the film. It was, I mean, it was done well, just, but it did hurt my heart. I wasn't expecting to see it, right? So that's when I knew that these movies were going to be something else, and really something that everybody would recall, like I'm seeing. So that's awesome.
Oh
Um,
yeah. Another one of the things I didn't have in the original film, I believe, I want to say I'm confident in this,
mhm,
is that especially with that scene right there,
mhm.
the old lady that comes out,
Yeah.
know what happened, and just walk away. So that some of the townspeople already know what's going on. They
Mhm.
already knew what happened in the past. They choose to ignore it.
Right. I've never read the Stephen King's books, and sorry, just I think Pennywise has them under like a spell that they have to ignore what's going on because he's there to prey on the kids. But I mean, there's gonna be a Pennywise TV show prequel on, I believe, on Max or HBO, whatever
Yes,
it's called
yes,
now.
it's Welcome to Derry or something like that.
Yeah, there you go. And so who knows? Like maybe they will elaborate on the whole situation or what's the backstory there, and create also new stories within a story that's already been, made and remade. Yeah. Yep. 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 Yeah. Let's see here. Another Stephen King movie that I always like to talk about is the Pet Cemetery.
Yeah,
And that one was actually my first horror experience. Basically, I had a babysitter that brought it over, and she was a very funny lady. She would call the police La Chota, and she brought us the VHS over. Like my minds were blown, right? I was a little bit older. I think like the first horror movie I saw was Child's Play, and then after like a couple of years after, must have been like 10, I watched Pet Cemetery. Left an impression on me. The scene that I remember most about the second one was when the stepdad is like tearing up the rabbit. That was horrible because I grew up watching Bambi and all these cute little movies, and how could you do that to a poor innocent thing? Which basically
I
is,
mean,
yeah.
you want to see if you want to see something messed up, which is very gory, watch Watership Down. It's
Butter.
like these like two rabbit herds or gangs. They throughout the movie they're just killing each other. It's cartoon, but it's like an older cartoon.
Oh my goodness,
Um,
you're right.
my stepdad told me about that one, where he used to watch that as a kid. But hey, speaking of stepdads, that stepdad in Pet Cemetery 2, he deserved it.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, like I don't condone that on, but that guy deserved it for what he, for how he acted with the family. And I want to say that they did give him a little bit, the people who've been risen back from the dead,
Hmm.
a little bit more of conscience
Right.
rather than just being like that's like the little boy in the first one.
Right. Yeah, like they had more
Um,
character to them, right?
yeah, exactly. Like your first instinct of being like brought back from the dead, like a zombie basically. It's
Hmm.
like, what the hell's going on?
Right.
Like what do I do?
Right.
When
And
like the first
then,
one, the kid was just like, I'm gonna kill you.
yeah, and then also just to like for reference, Watership Down. That movie's available on Max if you want to see it, of course, with a subscription. But yeah, going back to Pet Cemetery, they have like this like little intro where you could hear the like little kids singing. Well, I used to like mess with what my daughters write like when they were younger, because now they're preteens, but when they were younger, I would like pretend to sing like that, and they would get so freaked out. And they'd be like, "Stop doing that to us."
I
So
mean, it's like that siren song,
yeah,
like that kind of voice. That
yeah.
would scare anybody. What are you talking about?
I don't know, but the other thing that I loved about the Pet Cemetery movies. Wait a minute, my brain's loading. Let's see. Well, yeah, the first one, a shocking death in the family, and also the supernatural aspect of it, because the little girl was, she dreams about what's happening, and
Mhm.
also the backstory with Zelda, well, the mom, right, and Pet Cemetery, like she has a sister when they were little, and she's got like some type of illness,
It's leprosy.
leprosy. She's got leprosy, and
I believe it's that.
yeah.
And she feels guilty because she, didn't want any part of her.
Yeah, but also she would let the neighborhood kids come in and watch her and like stare her down like a freak. It was
Yeah.
horrible, honestly. And I actually like it when they show these like maybe not the protagonist in the in the movie or in the plot, but that they're showing like a darkness to them that they go back and think of like, oh my goodness, like I'm
Yeah,
like
it's
evil.
character
Yeah,
moments
yeah,
where they stop and they realize, their actions of what they've done. You could tell they instantly regret it. That's one thing I like about Stephen King and his movies. They really grasp a good ideology of the character.
right.
Um, and it just blends so well with the story. Like, was it, like, for example, The Shining,
Hmm.
it's, we could talk about The Shining all day,
Yeah.
but with Pet Cemetery, when the little boy dies in the first one,
Hmm.
that something like that could potentially happen, and it has happened in real life, to
Right.
people, and it's just something you can connect well with because it's something realistic.
Right. Can I tell you a story, a personal story?
And this is your show.
Okay. Well, basically, when I grew up in Australia, and in high school, I had a teacher who, she was like in a, and her daughter actually passed away like that. Somebody like 18-wheeler run her over,
Oh, that
and
that's very sad.
that was like shocking and so haunting because kind of like I was a teen, and so of course I was really stupid, but it just kind of opened that door of like, oh my goodness, like death is real and these things happen all the time.
I mean, yeah, it's just like one of those things where you see somebody one day, and next thing you know, you'll never see them again.
Yep. Yep.
And I know
Yeah.
that's when it happens. This stuff kind of happens.
Right. Yeah. I was like talking to my husband about it. I was like, do you remember that? He's like, no. I was like, I can't believe you don't remember that.
Disclaimer, people: if you have kids, cherish them, spend every day with them, because you never know if or when it could be your last.
Yeah.
Yeah, be, be a good parent. I have a son myself, and he's everything for me.
Yeah.
I'm a young parent.
Yeah.
I have my own story with that,
Mm-hmm.
but I'm learning how to be a dad
Mm-hmm.
while continuing to learn how to be an adult as well.
Yeah.
And regardless, I sacrifice a lot for my son.
Yeah. Right.
Don't engage it, don't fight. They're just showing their true colors, and we don't need that in this
Hmm.
world.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I haven't seen that one yet. Shout out to Universal Studios for trying to have like this dark universe thing going on.
Yeah.
This year, I desperately want to go check out Halloween Horror Nights. It's gonna be a big thing, especially with the whole new uh
Epic
Epic
Universe.
Universe.
Yeah.
Yeah, that just opened up. Another movie I grew up watching was Sleepwalkers.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of like a twisted version of Cat People. Yeah, it's just like literally Cat People just amongst us. Kind of makes you think like the whole conspiracy thing, like reptile people and stuff like that. Another one is Return of the Living Dead. It's like a punk spin-off of, the old
Night of the Living
Romero.
Dead. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I actually watched Return of the Living Dead for the first time last year, and I was so impressed with like an older movie about zombies because I don't know, like zombies to me are so bland. I don't know why. But this
Yeah, it's kind of like Morbius, take the red pill or blue pill,
right,
Either they're fast and crazy, kind of like what it
28
that
days later
was
type of situation.
28 days later, or what's the World War Z with Brad
Oh
Pitt.
yeah, Brad Pitt one.
Like everybody would be screwed if zombies were like that fast,
Mm-hmm.
Sorry,
Yeah. Yeah.
sorry, with Romero and his movies, the zombies are slow and all that. Pick your poison, but
Mm-hmm.
um, I know me personally, my cardio ain't that high, so
Mm-hmm.
I'll take the slow ones.
Right.
Um, I think they're trying to remake. Speaking of zombies, I think they're trying to remake Shaun of the Dead.
Dawn of the Dead? I feel like that
Yeah,
one's like too recent. Wasn't it like in the early
kind of.
2000s?
Yeah, like 2000. Like look this up. Fact check this.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I know it's like 2010, maybe a little bit before.
2004.
Yeah, okay. But
Yeah.
either way, like that was like that was very funny yet sad movie.
Yeah, it's a
You
good dark
know,
comedy. Shaun of the Dead, 2004. Shaun is a 30-something loser with a dull, easy existence. When he's not working at the electronics store, he lives with his slovenly best friend Ed in a small flat outskirts London. And that's when like the whole zombie apocalypse begins. But yeah, it's a good film. I think a lot of people are familiar with it. It's on YouTube
Mhm.
TV with a premium subscription or Prime Video. But yeah, I can't believe they're trying to remake that one. It's just like I feel like 2004. It's 24 years ago. Oh my god, right?
Yeah, I don't know. I have no idea. But I think it's the same people trying to remake it. So
Oh,
so maybe we'll
maybe.
see. We'll see.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I was
I do
talking
know
to.
that. Yeah, I do know. Sorry about that.
No, you're okay.
I do know that the same people who try to remake the movies or have a continuance usually have a higher chance of being more successful because they're really familiar with it.
Yeah, I agree. And then I think the protagonist in that movie, he's done other movies as well. What's his name? Simon Pegg. So yeah, I mean like
Another British guy.
yeah, another British guy, and yeah, I feel confident that whatever he does, it will be in good taste. What was I going to tell you? And what's your which of the following qualities is most important to you in a film? Plot, screenplay, costumes, aesthetic, or special effects?
Yeah, I had a tough one. Thinking about this one. We were talking about earlier. It's the complete triad
Mm-hmm.
for a great film,
Mm-hmm.
but you can't forget your fundamentals. The plot is the most important thing. If it don't make sense, like for example, Trying to remember his name right off the bat. M. Night Shyamalan,
Mm-hmm.
or like even like the Jordan Peele movies.
Yeah.
You know, you kind of get thrown in the ring where
It would.
with very little plot, you don't even know what's going on, but
Mm-hmm.
you just start collecting things throughout the movies.
Right.
Yeah, that could work too. You know, that's a different perspective on horror films.
Mm-hmm.
But I personally believe plot, screenplay is the biggest thing.
Mm-hmm.
And we talked about earlier, special effects and CGI should have a healthy balance. Costumes, aesthetics, stick with prosthetics, people. If keep it as real as we're in 2025 now, and if you're thinking about making a movie, making it as realistic as possible, because so we can engage in more, we can um, see how realistic it can be.
Yeah.
Without it looking somewhat like computer did it for you.
Yeah.
And even if it's something simple, like a serial killer, like whether Terrifier.
You're right.
Terrifier was mostly prosthetics.
Yeah.
And great film, great film. And I know he was down here recently,
At the
I believe, right?
Bernie's House of Horrors or something like that. It's like
Yeah,
all year round Halloween stores, Halloween supply.
yeah, yeah. I wanted to go, and I was out of town during that time. I do know that here in the RTV, there there's like a little film company. I
Mm-hmm.
don't know the name of it, but my buddy from high school,
Mm-hmm.
uh, Aaron Barrera,
Mm-hmm.
he just starred in his movie. He had a screenplay.
Mm-hmm.
Um, the the Dodge Arena, the old Dodge Arena,
Uh-huh.
and it was kind of like I don't want to say wannabe, but it's kind of like a psychotic killer movie, and it did pretty well. Did pretty well. He's been. I did a little, I touched back with him, after all these years. He invited me to the screenplay. I went. Amazing movie. Um, and,
Mm-hmm. Speaking
yeah,
of guys that originally originated from the RGV area, I don't know if you've ever seen American Horror Story or American Horror Stories, right? There's like two different shows.
yeah.
But there's this guy, his name is Raul Castillo. He's an actor. He was born in McAllen, Texas, and he's an actor and producer. He also came out in Smile 2. I don't know if you've seen it, but I mean, he's an excellent
Smile 2,
actor.
I haven't seen it.
Yeah, I recommend it. She came out in Smile 2, and it's so cool to see somebody from like our neck of the woods make it big, as one would say. But yeah,
Oh, definitely.
yeah.
Especially like with that one. Which movie it was specifically. It's probably like that female spider verse movie
Oh,
that came out.
Madam Web.
Yeah, didn't one of those actresses come from the Valley as well,
Let
or
me look
something
at.
like, or from Echo? I forgot which Marvel movie, but I know there was a big thing with that. Unfortunately, I believe it flopped the movie, but still, he will take an opportunity.
Yeah, that's so cool to see people take off, especially from these parts. Yeah, I was just looking up Madam Web to see who it could be, but I don't see anybody. Um,
And I
mhm.
know, it's happened this past year.
Let's see, I'm gonna Google it real quick. 2024 RGV actors in big films. Hollywood. What? Let's see. Estela Alonso from San Juan. Oh, but she's like I think she's like a comedian. Erin Ramos.
Try Marvel.
Marvel?
Try Marvel movies. Wearing Marvel movies this past year.
Oh, here we go. Rio Grande Valley native Lance wrote in new Marvel series Echo.
Yeah, so I knew it was one of those.
And her name is Danny McCullum. Mm,
Well,
yep.
shout out to her. She made it to the big screen. Uh,
Yeah.
you know, it shows definitely. It shows that there is an opportunity. All you got to do is just find it and take it.
Right? And don't give up. It says here that she is, let's see, she plays Tuglo in TV miniseries Echo streaming on Hulu and Disney Plus. McCullum graduated from TXST with her BFA in theater, performance, and production. Good for her. Good for her. That's so good to see people make it, and hopefully she continues on with her journey and has a successful career in which she wishes. She's so beautiful. My goodness. Alrighty, Steven. Well, then, thank you so much for joining me today. We're at the 50-minute mark. You gave me plenty to work with. So then I will be sending you the link to the website, the link to all the links basically. And then hopefully we could do this again. Maybe we could do like a group podcast. That would be so awesome. And I just want to wish you the best of luck in everything that you got going on, and keep on going. Don't give up. Okay?
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Yeah.
Till next time.
Yeah. Take care. Bye.